Hey guys, we are down to the end of Hate That Cat by Sharon Creech. Let's see if we can fit this last part in this one video. If not, I'll have to add a second one. March 13th. You know what? Today in the library, I found some more poems by Mr. William Carlos Williams. And do you know what he wrote? A poem about a cat. A cat! The title is Poem. Is Mr. William Carlos Williams a little lazy? And it is only about a cat climbing over a jam closet. What is a jam closet? And into a flower pot. That is it. That is the P-O-E-M. But as soon as I read it, I saw in my head Skitter McKitter, my black kitten. So here is a non-poem about her. So maybe what one of your jobs could be here is to look up that word jam closet and see if you can figure out what that might be. First, before we read the poem about, the non-poem about Skitter McKitter, I better read you Poem by William Carlos Williams. As the cat climbed over the top of the jam closet, first the right forefoot carefully, then the hind stepped down into the pit of the empty flower pot. Again, sometimes he's just writing about these simple things that happen, but helping you to draw a picture in your mind. So here's the poem, the non-poem about Skitter McKitter. Non-poem, inspired by Lazy, Mr. William Carlos Williams by Jack. And this one has a little asterisk here, which means there's a footnote at the bottom, and it says, note, if Mr. WCW doesn't have to think of a title, I don't either, right? But isn't poem or non-poem a title? Maybe, or maybe not. What do you think? As the kitten leaped over the pot of blue violets, first the front paws gracefully, then the hind paws landing into the bottom of the kitchen sink. That makes me think of Lulu, because at my house, the wall to my kitchen used to be an outside wall, so there's actually like a little window cut out in the wall above my sink, and sometimes Lulu actually jumps from the floor up into the window and down into the sink. Okay, I have to find my page. I forgot to mark it. March 14th, another non-poem inspired by Mr. William Carlos Williams by Jack. The fat black cat crouched on a limb of the maple tree, needle claws scratching the bark menacingly, then the tail whacking at the branch in warning. Ooh, that cat does sound menacing. I like how Jack's writing these non-poems that really do help us draw that picture in our head. March 21st. Just as I expected, my Uncle Bill is not a big fan of Mr. William Carlos Williams. Uncle Bill says Mr. WCW is a minor poet and a faux poet. So he spelled faux here, F-O-E. That means enemy. But look what he says here. Later, my dad explained he meant faux. F-A-U-X is how you spell that, which means fake. So my Uncle Bill says he is a minor poet and a faux poet. And I said, what about the So Much Depends Upon poem and the plum poems, which are stuck in my head and I can say them from memory? And Uncle Bill said, tuh, overrated, highly overrated. And I found myself sticking up for poor Mr. William Carlos Williams and the small, ordinary things he writes about, and the small, ordinary moments that you don't notice until you read his poems. And Uncle Bill said, small things, small moments, tuh. Give me large things, large moments. Give me poems about death and dying, about war and tragedy, and philosophical metaphors. Give me sonnets, give me odes, blah, blah, blah. The only interesting thing he said while he was visiting was that he's allergic to cats, and he sneezed a lot just to prove it. And he made us lock Skitter McKitter in my room. And when he left, my dad said two things. First, sometimes I envy your mom not being able to hear. And second, if Uncle Bill is allergic to cats, maybe he won't be able to visit us anymore. Ha ha ha. And I like that those laughs are actually at the end of the poem. So maybe we should think about what's our opinion about Uncle Bill and what do you think Jack's father's opinion is of Uncle Bill based on that. Oh no, March 26th. This is just to say that Skitter McKitter has run away. And maybe Uncle Bill would say this is not a tragedy. But in our house, it is a tragedy. Oh no, poor Skitter McKitter. March 27th. How can you go from hating cats to loving one cat in particular? One black cat, one Skitter McKitter cat who chases a brown nut across the wood floor and who trails balls of string over chairs and under tables, and who falls over backwards when she is swatting at a plant, and who leaps in your lap and purrs, and who sleeps on your pillow, curled behind your head, with one paw on your ear, and who crawls under the covers to nip at your toes. How can you love a little cat so much in such a short time? Last night, my mother signed the word C-A-T and then tapped her heart hard, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft. They're all really missing Skitter McKitter. March 31st. Still no Skitter McKitter. I think she got out when the plumber left the door open. I keep thinking about Mr. Christopher Myers' roaming cat and the person in the poem story who says over and over, "Where's your home? Where did you go?" There is a big emptiness in our house, just like there was when my dog Sky died. We've looked everywhere. We've called Skitter's name. We've put out bowls of milk. But the only cat who slurps the milk is that other black cat, that mean, fat black cat that scratched me. I saw it creeping away from the milk bowl, licking its chin. Lazy, waddling cat, flicking its proud tail. I hate that cat. I hope this part isn't too hard for some of you. I know a lot of you lost your cats or other pets this year, so I know that it's hard and you can understand how Jack's feeling right now. And more bad news. Yesterday, I received a postcard from Mr. Walter Dean Myers, and on it, he said that his cat died. He said his cat was old and had lived a good long life, but that he misses his cat. I know what he means. Keep your doors closed so your cats do not get out, and if you have any old cats, take good care of them. Jack is very compassionate right now, and what a coincidence, a sad coincidence, that Mr. Walter Dean Myers' cat died. I do think it's nice, though, that they're still corresponding with each other and that Jack is kind of now pen pals with his favorite poet. April 2nd. April 2nd, Skitter McKitter, here is your home. Why did you go? Just a super short little poem. April 11th. Wow, it's been a long time. March 26th when she went away. April 11th. So much depends upon a black kitten mewing outside your back door. Yes! Skidder McKidder is back! I heard scratching and then howling, but it didn't sound like Skidder. When I opened the door, there was the fat black cat making a ruckus. And then I heard a softer mewing, kitten mewing, Skidder mewing, and lying there beside the door was Skidder McKidder, looking thin and bedraggled, with a gash on one ear and a clump of fur missing from her neck. And when I went to reach for Skidder, that fat black cat put a paw out protectively and licked Skidder's ear and then nudged Skidder up and into my hands. And then the fat black cat sat there very still, silent, as I carried Skidder inside. I left the door open in case the fat black cat wanted to come inside too, but instead the fat black cat turned and walked away, whisking its fat black tail, whisk, whisk. I think the fat black cat found Skidder McKidder and saved her and brought her home. I'm sorry I hated that cat. When I held Skidder in my lap and petted her, she licked my hand. She licked it and licked it. It tasted good to her. It tasted good to her. It tasted good to her. Aww. So isn't that interesting that that cat turned out to be Skidder McKidder's hero? April 18th, The Kitten, inspired by Mr. Alfred Lord Tennyson by Jack. She pats the package with padded paws and pulls apart the golden gauze with her tiny furry jaws. Then, like an acrobat, she leaps, legs and ribbon in a heap, tangled round and tangled deep. Aww. He's using a lot of those techniques that he's learned. April 25th, The Purr, inspired by Mr. Edgar Allan Poe and my new thesaurus by Jack. Now, do you know what a thesaurus is? A dictionary is a reference book that lets us look up the meaning of words and the pronunciation of words and the part of speech of words to let us know if they are a noun or a verb or an adjective. But a thesaurus is a reference book that lets you get different words with similar meanings, synonyms. So he has this new thesaurus. I'm sure this could be good, full of lots of different synonyms for whatever word he's choosing here. The purr. Hear the kitten with her purr, humming purr. What a contagious contentment her vibrations spur. How she hums, keeping time, in a sort of thrumming rhyme, to the murmurabulation of the thrums and the hums of her purr, of the humming and the thrumming of her purr. May 2nd. Thank you for showing me all the books of cat poems and all the books that tell a story in poems. I never knew a writer could do that, tell a whole story in poems. I already read the one by Mr. Robert Cormier, Alive? And next by my bed is that Dust book by Ms. Karen Hess, Alive? And underneath that one is the Essie and Amber one by Ms. Vera B. Williams, Alive? And on my bulletin board is a list you gave me of so many poets whose books I can read. And also on my bulletin board is the funny poem picture of the cat chair by Mr. Chris Rashka, Alive? And in that poem by Mr. Lee Bennett Hopkins, Alive? About growing up to be a writer. I now have a treasure of words in my room. I love that part. Okay, gotta make one more video to finish it up.